What up? What up? What up, y'all? Y'all know I still got in the background. Hey, I ain't gonna act like I've been there before because as a Nuggets fan, I have not been there before. But this is your boy, Cool McCain. And I'm joined on my side by the one and only sports library himself, Coach Dante. Coach Dante, what up?
What up, y'all? What up, gang? Just doing nothing. Love watching this kid, Armin Thompson, play, but we'll get right into that in a few minutes.
Yes, sir. And y'all know he got a different look tonight. He like he just got out the pen. You know what I'm saying? Just left the yard. But the comment in the building, comment, what up?
What's up, y'all, man? Got to have a coach in the building with us tonight. Let's do the damn thing.
Yes, sir. Oh, and by the way, just in case y'all don't remember, right now, we're going to give y'all our view from courtside. So let's dig into it, y'all. So, All-Star Weekend, a lot of things to kind of break down a little bit from that. But where we going to go, we're just going to go through the stuff and we're going to talk about it as it happened. So we started off Friday night. Team Shannon, Team Stephen A. Smith. Team Shannon, to me, should have blown out Team Stephen A. Smith by a little bit more, but it did win. And the dub is what matters. Shout out to who I believe was the co-MVPs, in my opinion, Puka Nakua and Michael Parsons. And we know Jewel Lloyd can always do her thing. But, some really solid performance. Michael Parsons really showed out, and I don't say that much about anybody that plays for the Arlington football team, but he really showed out. So you got to give him props for that.
Well, let me speak on that. Michael Parsons, he's a great athlete, and it was sure better than what we saw on Sunday. So I'm very happy about that. And Jewel Lloyd, she is the queen. I'm telling y'all right now, she's the queen of going to be the queen of the WNBA in the near future. But it was good to watch them play, and it was very exciting to watch, especially after what happened on Sunday. But I'm good with that.
The Gold Mamba. Coach Dante, what you got for us?
Well, again, it was better than we watched that little atrocity that happened on Sunday. That was just a damn shame. It made me disappointed in watching. It made me just really disappointed just in saying, like, is this really basketball we watching? Is this really supposed to be basketball we watching? But other than that, Puka Nakua and Parsons, that tells you he reminded me of a Miles Garrett. They just athlete players. They just freakish athletes. And again, don't forget, my quarterback was a basketball player. He had about 17 points in that game. He was pretty good, but the celebrities are good as a whole, man. These celebrities can play some basketball. And I enjoy watching the game, to be honest with you. I enjoy watching, like, every celebrity game. I'd rather watch that more than the All-Star game at this point, as of going on and on, because these celebrities, these celebrities can play better than actual damn basketball players can play. I know one of them one of them right now. One of them damn celebrities can play better than Jock Landale play on my team right now for the Houston Rockets. They are better than Jock Landale ever will play for the Houston Rockets right now. I can tell you that right now. But I enjoy watching that game, seeing Nakua going up and dunking the ball, Michael Parsons shooting jump shots and going to the rim, and C.J. Stroud making threes and going to the basket. Man, you really got some of them good athletes out there, especially them football players. A lot of them football players can play some ball.
I feel it. And we'll move from there on to, for me, a shocking, because the team that I expected to win didn't win, but to me, a shocking Rising Stars challenge. What we got was the Panini, and that was the Ruffles All-Star Celebrity Game, by the way. We'll make sure everybody get their little stuff since they sponsored and all that. The Panini Rising Stars Challenge. Team Jalen won. They beat Team Deadlift in the championship game. I was surprised that another team was not in the finals, and that was Team Tamika. But they didn't get out the first round. And then Benedict Mathurin had a very good game and took home the MVP honors for that as well. So, guys, any thoughts that y'all have on that that game. Coach Dante, well, comment, you go ahead. You ready to go?
I'm ready to roll. You already know how I roll. It was good to see them because they play hard. They're very competitive, and it was great to watch. And uh, I thought the competition was great, and it was a good game. Although I kind of agree with you, Cool. I kind of thought that they should have won, but at the end of the day, at least they play hard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna hopefully you'll let me get into my real feelings about the All Star game. But that was great to watch, and these people who are not don't make a living off of that sport did the damn thing, and it was great to watch for the most part. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, it was good to see these young players out there compete and see these rising stars out there competing against each other, especially these G Leaguers that's going to be up and coming players compete with a lot of those guys that's already in the NBA. It's always good to see that, man. And you already got bones to pick with. People getting drafted in front of you and stuff. Already that's a scenario themselves, but it's good to see those young guys I go out there and compete. And that's one thing you don't got to worry about. The young guys, they're going to always go out there and compete. They're going to always have something to play for. They're going to always have pride to play for. They're going to always trying to prove that I'm better than you. I should have been drafted higher than you. You don't think that's still in their mind? Yes, they still think about that. But other than that, it's good to see some competition out there, man, between those G Leaguers that's up and coming and those young players that we got in our league today. They're going to always find a way to compete. That's one thing we ain't got to worry about. They're going to go out there and compete, especially some of these goddamn professionals that don't want to go out. They don't go out there and compete, but we've seen it out of the young guys. We've seen it out of young guys in the All-Star weekend. That's good to see.
Yeah, I love what Coach Dante said that these young guys they go out there and compete. I definitely agree with that, man. I love this format. So I love the fact that they've left the format as they split it up into four teams, and then they play to 50, and then the two winners play. So it kind of gives you like a slight tournament feel, and it allows to have smaller teams but have more teams, so you can see a lot more people. So I love that they kept this that way. I think that's the perfect format for this game. Um, so yeah, we're gonna head on over to Friday night. Because Friday night, I mean, excuse me, Saturday night. Saturday night was juicy. Like my man Biggie say, juicy. All right, so we'll start off with the skills challenge. And I'm gonna say this, my thoughts on the skill challenge is simply this. It needs to be an individual event. I don't like the championship, the team aspect of the skills challenge. Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, and Miles Turner, the Pacers team won. They beat team top picks, which was Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama, and team all-stars Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, and Trey Young. I don't like this being a team thing. I always liked it more when it was an individual thing. Um, I don't think it ever should have been a team event, and I would love for them to go back to the individual event for this. I didn't watch it, honestly, because I'm like, I don't care. I just didn't watch it. Con, what you got?
Well, cool. I agree with you 100%. A skills challenge is individual. You go based on your skill, not on your teammates. It's a skill event. It's a skill challenge, and I didn't like that the concept of why they did it. Hopefully, they change that as well as change the East West and all that. But I agree with you 100%. It's a skill challenge, individual, and that's what it should be based on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I even liked it, the theme before you had the skills challenge. You remember when you always had a legend that played. Say if you had a legend that played for the Lakers, and then you had like someone like Lisa Leslie shooting a basketball. I even liked that when they shot when it came down to the last shot at half court. I even liked that. I thought that was competitive. I thought you should consider bringing that back. With get these late WNBA ladies involved as well in that portion of theme. That was the first event coming up. I don't know why they decided to take that off as well. I even liked it there, but skill challenge is more individual. I definitely agree with that. Even like I say, as long as it's individual, Long as it's individual, I'm fine with it. I was first of all okay with the big man versus the guards as well too. I was okay with that because you competing, you're doing nothing but competing. I was okay with that as well. But skill challenges is all about skills and how you use your skills. But I think that's more of an individual thing. So yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like they want to make everything like a team, and it's like, bro, everything doesn't have to be a team. Let's just keep this things individual, and let them ride the way that they rock. We don't really have to try to make it what it's not. So definitely something to look at and be aware of. Um, then we'll move on with the events, and we will go to the 3 point contest, right? And that was the Starry 3 point contest. And the winner, I did predict. I wasn't honestly too confident, but I did predict Damian Lillard, and he did win. He had a good shoot off at the end with Trey Young, but I mean, when I looked at this beforehand, I said there's some other guys like a Jalen Brunson who could get hot, makes some noise, or Donovan Mitchell. But I mean, really, Lillard stood to me head and toes above the other guys. That's why I picked him, and I think he kind of showed that in his actual play in that competition. Kind of what you think?
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Dame, Dame time. You know what I mean? I felt that he has done it uh, on the real stage as opposed to the All Star stage, and he did a great job. And I mean, he's one of the best at what he does. And I picked him as well. I saw the field. I said, ain't nobody beating them. Now, if Steph came on, I might have been a little bit different. But the way the field was set, I had Dame going all the way, and he did the damn thing. Although it came down to crunch time, and he did the damn thing. But I do believe that Dame should have won, and he won, and it was great seeing that because they were competitive.
Oh, again, Dame is he's been there before. He's won this competition before, so he knows what it's like to compete in the 3 point shootout. And some of these guys, you know, Jalen Brunson, I think he's more game shooting. Like for us in the game, I think he's more game shooting. For us, Damian Lillard, he's built for shooting the ball in the 3 point shooting contest and in the game. He make those on an actual regular basis. So that's his shot. People like Trey Young and all of them though. But some of these guys are just really game shooters. I don't look at Jalen Brunson as an actual set 3 point jump shooter like how he is. He's more shoots on the move and stuff like that. But Dame is more of everything. He can shoot off the catch, shoot off the dribble, set. He can do it whatever how he wanted to. And Trey Young, he normally shoots that way too as well. So again, I thought that was pretty fun to watch Damian Lillard shoot the basketball. It's always fun watching him shoot in any type of ball game, no matter what it is.
Definitely feel that, man. So we got a couple of comments here. So Karam says Bucks will regret hiring Glenn Rivers. Also says they made a mistake, and he says their offensive rating went down. Well, sir, since you brought it up, you hired a guy who has made his entire career off winning one championship, has had several other teams, and have never been able to get it done. Number two, you hired a guy who got fired when he couldn't get out of the second round with the MVP last year. Number three, you hired a guy who was consulting and helping the guy that you fired. So you basically hired the guy that was helping the guy that you fired run the team. But somehow they're supposed to be smart and make sense. That do it for me. Wait, any thoughts on that, Con?
Of course, you know how I am. You know how I roll. First of all, I blame it on ownership of the management. Uh, First of all, they should never gotten rid of Griffin that early stage. Number one. And number two, you hired Doc at 10 mil for a 4 year contract. You know damn well he's going to take advantage of that. So, and then you hired him at almost midway through the year. So what do you expect? Uh, I think the major moves that the management made or the ownership made can contribute to the downfall of the Bucks. Uh, I guess stock when they have Doc Rivers. It's too early to tell. I don't want to make major adjustments because they already did that, already getting rid of Griffin. Are they going to do the same thing with Doc? So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because it's still early yet, and they got time to regenerate and hopefully get their thing together. So I don't want to make two wrongs make it a right. You know what I mean? So I'd rather fall back and check out what Doc's going to do. Give him some time. Give him, but cool. What you said was true. But you already done messed up getting rid of Adrian Griffin. You're gonna do the same thing with Doc after you already gonna pay him guaranteed 40 million. So you gotta give him a chance. So let's see what happens. But my take, they should never gotten rid of Griffin in the first place. Gave the man a chance, and so it is what it is. We're gonna have to see what goes on. But I think you got to give Doc a chance. It's only been what 10, 11 games since he's been there. Let's see what happens.
Well, I'm gonna take you probably one step farther. There's just a waste of hiring for the organization. Now, I do put that on the organization because, again, if you were gonna fire Adrian Griffin, I would have hired probably Terry Stotts, who knows Damian Lillard more, who knows Damian Lillard as well, and who he has experience coaching playoff teams as well in Portland. Adrian Griffin was probably set up to fail in a worse way, wasn't given enough time. But again, like I say, and I always bring this up, that reminds me of y'all remember David Blatt, who LeBron James got actually fired when he was 30, when they were 31 and 11. They didn't give him an opportunity, and he never got a head coaching job again. I mean, I'm not saying Adrian Griffin don't deserve another chance, because I think he do, but I believe it should be with a younger squad, not with a veteran squad that's ready to win. When Giannis Giannis or Lillard or Bobby Portis, when you get into scuffles with them, that's not good. Not as a first year head coach. I see if you were Terry Stotts or Doc Rivers and you get into a scuffle with people like that, you can keep your job long. But when you're a first year head coach trying to coach a championship ready-made team now, that doesn't look good for you. And plus, when Giannis is upset and he wants you out, then you're gonna have to get out. Then you're gonna get out. So I believe Adrian Griffin deserves another opportunity, but I believe he deserves an opportunity with a younger squad, not with a championship ready-made team yet.
My bad. I can feel that. I can definitely feel that. So we'll move on. We had I'm gonna say the best for last. So we had the AT&T slam dunk contest. If I see one more guy win a dunk contest, jumping over a 7', 7'3", whatever guy, that's supposed to be this great finale thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I just don't know. I would love for us to get back to actually doing what we're supposed to do in the dunk contest: creativity, athleticism. We don't need all these props. Once we started the props, the contest started to go down. Now we only got 4 people. You want the dunk contest to be better? Because I'm not even going to pretend like it was good. Mac McClung won. He was the better dunker, but that's not saying a lot because all Jaylen Brown did was basic dunks. And then they kept talking about how he had all this power, and they were trying to help him win, but you couldn't validate it by what he was doing. You need to go back to 8 people. And in the first round, the bottom 2 people are out. And in the next round, the bottom 2 people are out. 4 people in the finals. Whoever gets the best score out of those 4, that's your winner. And also, on top of that, we don't need 90 seconds or whatever it is to dunk. You get 2 chances to dunk. You make it or you don't. You miss the first one, we're gonna penalize you when we score. You make the second one, you still get a decent score. You don't make either one, you get low scores. It is what it is. It's a dunk contest. It's not a get it right, make it tight, and still dunk contest. No, it's a slam dunk contest. We We took the slam dunk contest and we perverted it into something it wasn't meant to be, and that's why people aren't bought into it anymore. Get back to the roots and the origin of what a dunk contest should be, and it'll be better. Kind of what you got.
Uh, Crew, I have to agree with you again. If y'all remember, Nate Robinson, how many dunks did he try to get to the when he finally made it? What, 5, 6 dunks? Back in the old days, you had X amount of dunks, and if you didn't dunk, you got penalized. Now I go back to 1976 when Dr. J and all, but I'm old as dirt, as you all know. But I go back to not from way back then. So I go from an old school set of standards, and the way they've done it now, the dunk contest has been totally messed up. And the fact is, why don't the players, NBA players, participate in the dunk contest? We have one, Jalen Brown. Gotta give him credit for that. How come you don't have remember when Dominique and Spud Webb and Jordan and all them dudes participating? Now you got guys who are in the G League, and let's get back to where it was before. Why we keep trying to do things? Sometimes the old school is the right way to do the goddamn thing. And I would appreciate if, they keep saying LeBron's the one that set it off because he would never participate. I think if you get the NBA players to participate, that would make the NBA contest more attractive and more people would watch. But this year, we have 4 people, and McClung, whatever his name is, Matty Young, whatever, me and my. But yeah, he was good. Don't get me wrong. And James Brown was good, but it ain't like the old days. And unfortunately, I'm old school. I want it to be the way it should be, old school. Like you said, Coop, have 8 players participate, NBA players who can do the damn thing. These NBA ball players just don't want to participate in that. It ruins the actual dunk contest. That's why they're going to the G League. That's why they're getting all these other players. That's my feeling.
Yeah, stars don't want to do it. So you got one noticeable name. You got 2 young dudes from the NBA and then the G League dudes. So yeah, it's not. You gotta do a better job. You gotta make it mean something so people want to be in it.
Exactly.
Again, this ain't like when Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and all of them people wanted to compete against each other. Everything back in the day that you said, Carmen, they wanted to compete. They wanted to compete against each other. Everything, whether if it was a dunk contest, a layup contest, whatever it was, a water drinking contest, Jordan gonna compete. They were gonna compete. So this what this league just turned into. I don't know if people are afraid of injury or something like that. It shouldn't be that cause because you jump all day like that in the game and you do windmills in the game like that and all day long. But other than that, it's just, man, like I say, man, it's just I'm tired of watching the same dunks every single time. People, you was taking the win, you got to jump over somebody just to win when you just really get leverage with your hand, pull up with your hand, and then that makes it easier to jump up and dunk over them as well. It ain't like you just jump it over without using leverage anyway. But other than that, again, it's just, man, it just ain't the same no more. And people get tired of seeing the same dunk, and people now want to dunk, take their shoes off, dunk with Timberlands, like Cole Anthony. I'm tired of seeing all that crap.
And if you don't mind, do you remember LeBron during a layup line? He would do every possible dunk there is.
Yep, he would do it.
He would do the damn dunk contest. Figure that out.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. Now the highlight of Saturday night, Steph versus Sabrina 3-point challenge.
Nice.
Sabrina shot from the NBA line. She got a little tired at the end, but she did use the WNBA ball, but she shot from the NBA line. So I'm gonna refrain from this one. We're gonna go reverse order. Coach Dante, what are your thoughts first?
I think it's good. I just think, like I said, I just think these ladies should be more active in these type of events. I think it should happen again. I wouldn't be opposed to, if you can have a mixture You have a mixture of ladies and men. Like you already got Sabrina competing. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I would be opposed to it. I just want more ladies in these like the event before the skills challenge. When you would have Team Lakers and you would have someone like a Magic Johnson, you would have someone like say Lexi Brown or something like that, in another a Laker right now. You know, like what I was just saying earlier. I wouldn't. I love that. I love that competition. Two of the best shooters in each league. In each league, I love it.
What about you, Con?
Well, I have a Kenny Smith, made a couple of comments which I wasn't too happy with. Uh, you know, the women shoot where they shoot from, and they use the ball which they use. The NBA ball players use the NBA ball which they use. If you're going to have them compete against each other, they got to use what they normally use. That's my opinion. So if you're going to have them compete, you got to have them compete in which they're used to competing with. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad that the women show what they can do. And when Caitlin Clark comes in, who knows what's going to happen next year? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's great. I think it's great for women. I think it's great for the WNBA. I think it's great for the young girls and the young women. I think it's great for basketball itself. And I think it's a great thing that they did. And hopefully it'll get better. But I just don't like the fact that Kenny Smith was making all kind of damn excuses. The women play with what they're given. The men play with what they're given. So if you're gonna have them compete, you're gonna have them compete with what they're normally used to doing. That's my facts.
Yeah, I said I was gonna refrain, but I was telling the truth.
We already know.
For me, man, I love what they did. I've been talking about how I would like for them to expand it. I'd love to have like 2-on-2. And when I say a 2-on-2, I'm not meaning like they're on teams. I'm meaning two women shooting, two men shooting. Whoever wins gets the championship. Maybe the next year you find somebody else, three men, three women. Whoever wins gets the championship. So not like a team thing, but like an individual thing. But with men and women both being able to be a part of it. I love the fact that they shot from the men's line, right? What that tells me is WNBA, maybe we don't go all the way back to the men's line, but maybe we push that line back an inch or two, right?
I'm good with that. That's cool.
Because if you do that, you're making it easier for them to compete in these type of contests, and you're showing that even though they're using a different ball, that range is similar, and that's where I think we have a lot of people like we didn't get to talk about it on here, and this will be our bonus thing, but like Michael Porter Jr. going out and saying some things that should have been said about women's basketball, misconstrued because you didn't have all the information.
Right.
But if we do things that can be done, that they can do similar to men, then let's put it in that light. Let's do it. Let's show what they are about.
Exactly.
And I love the humbleness of Caitlin Clark. I love the humbleness of Steph Curry. And I mean, I said Caitlin Clark already got a year ahead of myself. Sabrina Ionescu. And what I've always liked to say about this, and I like to give Steph Curry his flowers for this. Sabrina said, I want to shoot with Steph. Steph said, let's do it. Not only did he say, let's do it, he pushed it until it happened.
Right.
Right. Because if Steph doesn't go out and listen saying, hey, let's do this, I want to be part of this, let's add this doesn't happen. So he's brought that there. So now it's time to expand upon it. NBA, WNBA, it's time to expand upon it. Let's hope they do it. And now, want to shout out the G League because they actually had their own dunk contest as well, and Cheryl Swoop's son Jordan won that, and then they had their own like Rising Stars Challenge type game for the G League as well on early Saturday. But we're gonna go straight with Con with this one. It's time, Con. All-Star game thoughts, sir.
Cool. You really want me to go there? Do you really want me to go there, Cool? Because I go there. All right. The day before the All-Star game, You're gonna put me on my own screen. I'm like, the day before the All-Star game, they had 170 of the all-time NBA legends at the luncheon. And you know, Larry Bird, the man himself, said, "Hey, I hope that the NBA All Stars play hard and be competitive." And guess what? They ignored him. They had the great Oscar Robinson. They had all the great legends. And you know something? They could care less. And then I'm a little bit mad. Dame Lillard, he won the MVP of the 3-point contest. He won MVP of the All Star game. He said, "Well, I don't know what we can do. I'll tell you what we can do. Shut the goddamn game off. Have the players who were named to the All Star team sign autographs, get their endorsements because they're worried about being injured, and the fact that, you know, they're worried about injuries. They can still get their damn money and they can still get their endorsements and they don't have to worry about getting injured." But let me tell you something. If you're a player, you're competitive. I played in All Star games, not to that level. You put me any game, ping pong, chess, Chinese checkers, I'm going to play to win. And I don't care if my mother's on the other side of the court. That's how I am. You play to win, you play competitive, and you play hard. And these players were making $40 million a year, and they go out there and do nothing. And even the old timers who are there, who paved the way for you guys to make the money that you're making, and you don't give a you don't. I'll be nice. You don't care. You go out there when you perform, you play. You play to perform. You play to be competitive. I'm getting almost. You play to play hard. Every time you step on that damn court, you play hard. Now that's, whew, I get so upset because I'm old school and I know you go back to the late 70s, early 80s, they played hard because it's competitive. And I don't know what these players think they're doing. And maybe it's the agents, maybe it's the money, whatever it is. But let me tell y'all something right now. When you are a professional, you have to be a professional. You go out there to compete. Now you're going to say, well, they might get hurt. Y'all remember when Kevin Durant got hurt doing a layup line? So don't give me that. I'm sorry, cool and coach. I hate the fact that the All Star game has turned out to be what it's just like the NFL football game. That I can even understand a little bit more because that's more of a dangerous sport. NBA, you go out there, you play you play your ass off. I'm going out there, I'm gonna play because I'm being rewarded. The fans voted me in. This is for the fans. The fans and the parents pay all that money to come see players play and to go to that level again and again and again, and to have some of the superstars say, well, we don't know what can we. There got to be a way. You know what the way is? Shut the damn game off. I told you, play the Friday game, play the celebrity game. Saturday game, you play the G League versus the rookies or second year rookies, whatever you want to call it. And Sunday, you do all the skill sessions and promote the dunk contest. Get people from the G League. Get people from the goddamn street. I don't care. There's some great street dunkers out there. Do something to make it worthwhile for the people who pay their money and bust their ass so their kids can go and see the goddamn game. I'm so pissed off. And I know Keith told y'all, me being old school that I am, I'm sorry. Every time I step on the court, you're getting the best out of me. I don't care. All-star game, whatever. 40 men, 20 men, 20. That's how I roll. And for me to see these guys out there making all that damn money, getting endorsements, getting, everything for them, and they don't realize what paved the way for them to do what they're doing. So I'm going to end it quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate it. I'm pissed off. I know coaches knows me. I don't go up like this, but I'm going the hell off. I'm sorry. I'm old school, and that's how I'm rolling. And that's me. I go on the court. You're getting the best out of me. I don't give a. All right, cool. Interrupt me.
I mean, I agree with you on that, but I would have took it a step further though too. I know you holding your stuff, some of your stuff in, but like I say again, I'm gonna say it every word in the book. I think the legends that paved the way for us, like Michael Jordan, it's not an all-star game that you saw him play. He didn't want to go out there and play hard and compete. That he didn't want to win. The late great Kobe Bryant. It's not an all-star game. You saw him not wanting to go out there and compete in. Kevin Garnett, a lot of people hated that guy. It's not an all-star game. You didn't want to see him to go play in. So when a legend says wish these players to play hard and people that paved the way for these guys to play basketball, and you get them a big FU finger and said FU, that you just don't give a damn about the game. You just disrespecting the game of basketball. I mean, these legends was gonna. What if they? We just saw. I believe it was a few years back. We saw Dwayne Wade get a busted nose in an All-Star game. We saw him get a busted nose and didn't care. They all wanted to play, and again, it's just the same shame. I mean, again, we don't got nothing on the line, so these guys ain't gonna play hard. No money on the line. You don't got, like we was discussing. I believe a couple of months back when we was on your show, Con. We don't got no home court advantage on the line. We don't got that on the line, which is baseball do have that. They get home field advantage in the World Series. Something at least should be on the line to make these guys play. If you win an All-Star game, home court advantage in the NBA Finals, at least something to make these guys play, or some money or something to make these guys play. Because what we're saying out there, they don't care. They don't give a damn about these fans out here that's voting them in the All-Star game. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't care. This is what we got to get every single goddamn year. And we all tired of it as fans and voting they sorry asses in the game and just watch this on TV every single time. And these young players, of course, these young players are going to have something to play for. They're going to have some young, that's what I like watching these young players more than I like watching these veterans because they remember who's drafted in front of them. That stays in their head throughout the season, especially if you see Jabari Smith, if you see Pablo Banchero, number 1 overall pick, and Jabari Smith, number 2 overall pick, you think they're not going to go at it on the court? You think they're not going to go? They go on the actual court when they go against. You think they're not going to go at it? They're going to go at it. These young players are going to go at it, but these young guys, these older guys, they don't care. So again, we pay our they pay their hard-earned money. We vote these people in the All-Star game. And this is what we get. We get a big FU. That's just all we get to people that don't care about the damn game of basketball. I'm not going to say, of course, they're going to care about it with their respective teams, but this is still a game of basketball. And all these legends asking you, let's get a competitive ball game out here. You don't even want to listen to what the goddamn legends got to say. Somebody who paved the way for you, and someone that you actually look up to. You don't want to get them a damn competitive All-Star game. So that's all they did. They gave us a big FU. That's all they did.
I couldn't say it better. You go ahead, Coop.
So there's a lot of things to unpack here. So we'll unpack some. We won't unpack all because the amount of time that would take would be astronomical. But one of the things that's an issue is we just saw what the NBA became. So think about this. A lot of people, and I'm not saying that you guys fall in this category, but a lot of people are mad because they had 200 and the other team had like 186 and they had over 200. This would have happened 3 or 4 years ago if we didn't change the format after Kobe passed. Rest his soul. You know why? Because as the league has progressed, they care nothing about defense. They want to score. Points. You touch a guy, it's a flagrant foul. You sneeze, it's a foul.
Yep.
Right? If you're standing inside of a little stupid circle and a guy bowls into you and elbows you in the face and then scores, it's a foul on you. So you made the game soft. You made the game all about offense. What do you think is going to happen in a game where you have the 12 best quote unquote players from each conference? All these guys that all go out there and all they want to do is shoot the ball anyway. And you get them 4 full quarters to do so. What do you think is going to happen? I agree with Coach Dante. You want to make the game mean something? I've said it before. We said it on your show. Home court in the playoffs. I don't care if The Eastern Conference team is the seventh seed, and the Western Conference team is the first seed. You should have won the All Star game. That's who gets home court. That's a difference maker. That's something that people go out there and say, you know what?
I like that.
We gotta play for something, right? Because if we think we're gonna get to the playoffs, everybody think they're gonna get to the playoffs. So you think you're gonna get to the playoffs? Think you're gonna win a championship? You want to get your conference home court. You need something to play for. I think the other thing is fans are to blame as well. Coach Dante made a great point. We sit here and we allow these same cats to get there because we vote them in. Oh, LeBron, we're checking LeBron. LeBron ain't played defense in the All-Star game in 5 years. KD don't ever play defense in the All-Star game, right? Why don't we show them something? Why don't we say, let's get some of these young cats that's out here playing well, but that's going hard on the defensive end too, and let's vote them in as starters. Because fans got the most vote. But we ain't going to do that because you know what that means? That means you have to actually watch the game and see who's playing. It's easy to go look at the ballot and check off all the names of the people you know than actually watch the game of basketball. That's the problem. We don't want to watch until the All-Star game. We don't want to watch until the playoffs. We don't want to watch till the end of the season. Then we get mad at what we see. But we help cause it. Adam Silver, you're not without blame either. You need to stop with all these changes to the rules and make everything soft. You got to push it back the other way. You went too far. You got to push it back the other way. People need to be able to play defense in the NBA. Everything can't be a foul. If I go straight up and I lean into you a little bit, it's just incidental contact. Stop calling everything a foul. We need to get rid of that little stupid circle at the bottom where if people get inside, there's an automatic foul on the defensive player. No, we don't need that either. You got to go back to making the game more along the lines of what it was, and that will translate to the All-Star game. If you don't do the stuff in the regular season, you're not going to get an All-Star game and start playing defense and you don't play it all in the season. You're going to play the way you normally play.
Cool. I agree with you 100%, but it's like kind of twofold in the fact that you're saying Adam Silver made the game more easier, but the players are complaining about every little touch, every little bump, every little thing too. So the players have to take a more consideration as that, because I remember when Abdul-Jabbar knocked the individual out and stood in the game. So I'm not going to go young, I am. But what I'm saying is the game has changed because of the rules. I agree with you. But also the players, they're making
to the rules.
Little tap. Come on now. Cool.
They're to the rules.
You come in the paint, I'm hitting you. You're getting hit. That's fact. You're getting hit. That's me. But anyway, so they're making the game more fit for more offense because everything wants offense and all that. But by the same token, I think the players themselves, because of the rules, they complain about every goddamn foul, every shot. They complain to the officials. Me being a referee, I can understand from a referee standpoint, but also the players complain about every damn call. Now, how can we change that?
I mean, but it's starting. I'm gonna say this. It starts with the touch fouls too. It starts with the touch fouls. I mean, every time you touch a play, it shouldn't be a foul. I mean, again, you want to two hands, you can put one hand on somebody, but if you are putting two hands on them, depends on how you do it. If it's a softie, do not call it. I mean, this league is easier to score in because you get all these superstars get all like LeBron James. Every time he complaining about something, it's a foul. Every time Devin Booker complain, you get touched, it's a foul. So you need to take all these touch fouls up out of the game. I don't like all these touch fouls in the game of basketball. I really don't. And then they just be petty touch fouls.
And I'm gonna tell you something real quick, y'all. I never made it to the NBA as a referee, but when I did officiate high school, college, at least I did it make an impact? Did one offense or defense gain an advantage? If there's no advantage, let them play on. Simple as that. Play on. If one didn't get an advantage, you play on. Now, of course, there's going to be obviously legitimate fouls. But as a referee, because I was a player, I would look at it as a player, not as just by the book, because there's always gray areas. So what I would do as a referee is I would look: did anyone gain an advantage? If the defense gained an advantage, or did the offense gain an advantage? If you look at it from that point of view, it may change your mind how to appreciate the game. But by the same token, as you guys may or may not know, after every game, the officials get the tape of the actual game, and every single call that was made and every single call that wasn't made goes over. So it's being brought on from the higher aboves coming down to the officials. That's why you see them when the clock stops, all the things that they're wearing on their uniforms. It's because they're trying to make the game more feasible for the offense as opposed to the defense.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, we could talk a lot more about this because there's a lot to talk about, and we might revisit it. But let's move on to our next topic.
Okay.
So, as of what did you say last night? Right? As of last night, and of course, first half of the season, who are you? Who is you guys MVP so far? And of course, this could change because we still got some time left. This can change, but as of right now, who's your MVP? Coach Dante will go to you first.
Oh, it's tough.
Yep.
My MVP, Jason Tatum, right now for what he's doing for the Boston Celtics. That's my MVP right now. Of course, you can say Giannis. That's the easier way you can say. You can say Luca as well. You can say him as well. But I will go Jason. I will go Jason Tatum.
Coach Dante gonna take half the daggone people from us. Kyle, who you got?
As Coach always does when he comes on the show, he takes my spot.
I
But
got,
that's
I
okay.
got, I got to remember to let you go before him when we doing this stuff because he do always do that.
My spot. As much as I hate the Boston Celtics, Boston BU, BC, BN, anything, you got to go with Jason Tatum. I mean, they have the best record. They have the best team. He's playing it out of his mind. I think he's ready to step up. You know, the only thing about the Celtics is they're very good in the regular season and playoffs. They always seem to fail. But if you're asking me right now, as much as I hate to say this, I might start stuttering. I got to go with Jason Tatum with the Boston Celtics. They have the best record. They're playing out there. I think they have 7 games ahead in the division. You got to go with Jason Tatum. That's my guess.
Well, I'm gonna go with Nikola Jokic, the
We
only
already,
man, the
we
only
already.
man, one of 4 people all time that has scored a triple double on every team. I mean, a double double on every team.
I read that to you. That's true.
Yeah. So that man right there, and how much better that team is when he does and he's not on the court, um, shows value. You want to pick Jason Tatum? I ain't gonna argue with you because there's a great case to be made for him. Like
Yep.
Coach Dante said, Giannis Antetokounmpo, great case to be made for him.
Yep.
The biggest knock against Giannis was bringing in Damian Lillard.
All right, but one thing I'm gonna say to you, to both y'all, is this: the NBA has never, well, I should not say never, they haven't, into my recollection, ever gave anyone 3 MVPs in a row except Larry Bird, if I'm correct. So therefore, I don't think Jokic is going to get it, and I don't think Giannis is going to get it. I think the NBA wants someone else to get it. That's why I think if it comes down to it, and it's a regular season vote, not a playoff vote, it's during the regular season. So if you go by the regular season, and if the Celtics end up with the best regular season record, I think they're going to lean towards Tatum. But I hear what you're saying, Kudo.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fluid between now and the end of the season. A lot of things can happen, but it's always good to get those takes, and then we can revisit this every couple of episodes, see if anything changed in our minds. All right, guys. So we're gonna do something a little different. Um, Basically, I'm going to go through and give you the top 10 teams as of now. for the Eastern Conference, and then we'll come back into the Western Conference. So, what I want you guys to do is, of this 10 teams, you give me your 8 who are going to make the playoffs, or you think is going to make the playoffs. And then, if you have a impact player or player to watch, I mean, obviously not like a Giannis or something, but like like a backup player, role player to watch from those teams, feel free to provide us with that information. Um, so we'll start in the Eastern Conference. Um, we have the top 10 teams from bottom to top: Atlanta Hawks, Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat, Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers, New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks, Cleveland Cavs, and Boston Celtics. So I would assume most people, you would be picking between the bottom 4 teams, thinking that 2 of those are going to make it, 2 of those are not. So to go back through those, because we are talking about 10 teams, you got the Hawks, Bulls, Heat, and Magic. And then the other 6 are, your top 6 right now. So, Khan, we'll start with you on this one. So, Coach Dante, you'll steal your picks. Who you got making the playoffs, and then any impact player from those teams, if you want to talk about them just for a quick second, or just give a name if you want to.
Okay, well, you already named the top 6 so far. Out of the bottom 4, that's very, very tough. If I had to choose,
well, one of them is a given.
Not necessarily, not necessarily, not that. But anyway, if I had to choose out of those bottom 4, I would probably go with Miami Heat. I think Miami Heat, because of what they've always stood for. If I'm correct, if they're in the bottom 4, if I'm correct, I would go with Miami Heat. Uh, you know, Game day, Jimmy Butler, he still health concerns, but they always come through playoff time. I would go with Miami Heat. I think the Atlanta Hawks, giving away Collins, I don't think they really improved themselves. Um, I would go with Miami Heat out of those bottom 4. And any surprise players, as you mentioned, I'm going to go Indiana and Halliburton. I think he's going to make a big difference in the playoffs this year. Philadelphia, depending upon Embiid, I think they're not going to be viable. Milwaukee, depending upon Doc Rivers, we already talked about Doc as far as him being able to get that team together. So right now, I would go with Miami out of the bottom 4. I think any surprises would be.
Well, we still need one more team, Con. You gave us Miami. We need another one. Orlando, Chicago, Atlanta. Who's going to be the 8th seed?
Well, Orlando have really impressed me so much, because no one thought they would be the way they're playing right now. And they got Bonchero and they got the Wagner brothers, so they're playing at a very high rate right now. I would go with Orlando. So my guess would be Orlando and Miami.
Okay. All right. And any other players to focus on from any of the other teams that you think are going to make it, or are you good?
Bam. Out of those teams, no, absolutely not.
All right, Coach Dante, who you got?
I always said, if Miami gets you in the 7-game series, they already proven they're going to be a tough out. They already proven they're going to be a tough out. No matter how bad they are, how bad you think they gotten, they're going to always find a way in the playoffs to get the job done, because Eric Spoelstra, great coaching, and they always play hard every single night. So Miami is obvious for me, and by me looking at these standings, Orlando, they looking pretty much in good. They looking in good shape. So those are the obvious 2. I don't see no one dropping out for those two dropping out. You got the Bulls, who has played well. The Bulls who has played well since Zach Levine been out, and they need to keep him out. I would keep him out if I'm the Bulls. I would keep him out. Kobe White has been playing well for the Chicago Bulls. He has flourished now that he's getting some full time minutes. He has flourished, but I think they need to keep Zach Levine out. No need to bring him back while the team is playing that well. They looked like they were on a verge of just going down the drain, but now you're seeing players play well without Zach Levine. You're seeing the energy flows up a little bit more. Team chemistry looks really good. Now that Kobe White is getting significant minutes, he's showing you what he could do. Yeah, but other than that, obvious too is Orlando and the Miami Heat. And again, those are obvious two at the bottom. And Atlanta, they look pretty well because you know why? They not a good team because you know why? Because Brooklyn is so goddamn bad. That's just what it is. They're so damn bad. And ain't no I would have gave up Mikal Bridges. Ain't no anywhere you can stay there and think you're a playoff team and you want to keep a great talent like Mikal Bridges. So if I'm Mikal Bridges, I may consider not being a part of a rebuilding team like Brooklyn because Brooklyn is so just gotten so worse. So that's the only reason Atlanta is what they are. And Atlanta is bad as well. They're as bad as well. They have one of my favorite players, DeJounte Murray, on the team, and you still have no improvement of that team. They have been an absolute mess. And one player I do like, Jalen Johnson, has been really good for them guys this year, but they are absolute travesty and a mess. They can't play defense. They don't stop anybody on the defensive side. And yeah, these are obvious. Look like the top 10 look like it's gonna hold. You got Washington, who's bad. You got Pistons, who everybody think I thought they were gonna be better. I thought they were gonna be absolute better, but Monty Williams, I don't know if this is him as a coach, or the players are just really not good. I'm gonna say more of the players, they're not really as good as we all thought how good they were supposed to be. And Monty Williams, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna only say this. You did go to the NBA Finals. You did get to the NBA Finals with a team you really actually supposed to got with. But this is where you show your true colors when you go to a team like Detroit. But I'm not gonna blame all that on Monty Williams because I don't think he knew what the hell he was getting into and expected this team was gonna be so bad. But other than that, I see the top 10 staying the same.
All right. So for my top 8 teams, I'm gonna go flush. I'm gonna go Miami, Orlando, Indiana, Philadelphia, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Celtics. For guys to kind of look out for or watch what they're doing. Miami, I'm gonna go with Terry Rozier. With Orlando, what they're gonna be able to get out of what's my man name? Anthony Kidd, Greg Anthony's son. What can you get out of him? Cole, yeah, because you're going to need another point guard on that team. If he can step up and be a guy that they can put in their rotation and really help them play, then he's going to be a very important piece for them. For Indiana, I had to think about this one for a minute, right? Because there's a couple of ways you could go when you're looking at Indiana as far as guys who, could make an impact. But after a little deliberation, the guy I decided to go with that I think is going to be a different maker look at is Benedict Mathurin. It was between him and Siakam because I don't think either one of those guys are technically the start as Halliburton. But I'm going to go with Mathurin because he brings the scoring punch. He's got good height at 6'5". There's a lot of things that he can do to help Indiana, and they're going to need another guy that can score, and they're going to need him to continue to bring it, in the the back court, to help out Tyrese Halliburton. So then, as we go up, it gets a little bit trickier, right? Because a lot of the guys are known. But with Philadelphia, they brought in a piece, right? And they brought that piece in to be very important to them. And that piece that they brought in, that's the one. I mean, we could talk about the guys that's on the roster. There's other guys on this team. But they went out and spent assets to go out and make this team better. And with that move, you got to have Buddy Hield be a guy that's going to crack this lineup and help this team win. Because if Buddy Hield does not play that role for this team, then you gave up assets and picks to get a guy that didn't do anything for you. So how is that going to really help you be more successful? When you think about the Knicks, it's got to be Randall. Julius Randall has to return, and he has to give them something. He's got to figure out a way to make baskets with his right hand, go to the right, and not always have to force himself to go, to the left to be able to score. He's got to make it where teams have to say he can score with both hands. That's what he's got to do. But that's what's going to help their team be better. Milwaukee, I'm gonna go with Gallinari. They just added because they needed another guy who can shoot, who can play defense, and who can be in a four-man rotation in the post, so those guys can get some rest. So I like that Gallinari pickup for them. Cleveland, they've got so many guys, man. I'm not even gonna name one. I'm just gonna say their bigs, the young bigs, have got to actually start stepping up and continue to play well for them. And then with Boston, um, Porzingis. They need Porzingis to be a force for them in the post and show them some different things that they're going to be able to do. So that's who I'm picking. As guys that should be able to, that they're going to need to make a difference in that. And then we'll swing over to the Western Conference. So who do you guys think is going to make the top 10, the top 8 out of this 10? We got Golden State, Los Angeles Lakers, Sacramento Kings, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, New Orleans Pelicans, Denver Nuggets, LA Clippers, Oklahoma City Thunder, and Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll go with you first on this with Coach Dante.
So obviously we're gonna have Minnesota, who's currently has the best record in the West. Currently, you got OKC, Clippers, Denver, obvious. I think New Orleans is obvious. I think the top 6 is obvious, and then even the top 8, like 1 through 8 is really tight. 1 through 8, I think it stays the same. I think it stays the same for 1 through 8. I don't believe in Minnesota. I don't believe in Minnesota at all. I don't believe in that hype. Yes, they got the number one seed as of right now. I just don't believe in the hype with them. I don't believe Mr. No Show will show up in the playoffs when it matters the most. Too many times. So I'm not believing in Minnesota. They having a great regular season. Yes, they are, but I don't believe in Minnesota at all. Now, I haven't been saying this. If the Clippers is healthy for in the playoff series, they propose a problem for anybody. They propose a problem for anybody if they're healthy, but that is a big if. We won't know until they get there. So I still will take Denver to further notice to beat anybody in this playoff picture. I'm still doing that. Phoenix, we haven't seen Bradley Beal all season long. We don't know how those three is gonna shape up. We haven't seen them all season long, so I can't really judge them in a big time playoff game like that. Sacramento, I knew they were gonna fall off a little bit. They had the surprising season last year. Now they taking a little step back. They still a little dangerous team. They still a dangerous team a little bit, but I think the top 10 stay the same. I think the top 8 stay the same though.
All right, Con, what you got?
Again, you should have asked me first before Coach. But I think that Coach is basically correct. The thing that I look at is what team can beat the Lakers in a 7-game series, or the Warriors in a 7 if they get that far. Who can beat them in a 7 games? 1 game, maybe. A 7-game series. I don't think Sacramento can do it. I don't think Minnesota's able yet to go that far. The Pelicans are good, but again, when you come to playoff time in a 7-game series, everything shrinks down. You go to more of a half-court offense, half-court defense, and also the experience. So I look at it from that point of view. I'm looking at how many teams can actually beat the Lakers if they get there. Can beat the Lakers in the 7-game series with the King and Anthony Davis or Steph. And the way the Warriors are playing right now, they're playing at a very high level right now. So I'm gonna keep the team that you said the top 8 regular season. When it comes to playoff time, I think it's going to totally change. Now, coach don't like no show, but no show has been playing pretty damn good. Uh, you got
Regular
to get
season player, Con. Regular season player.
exactly. So I'm I hear you. I hear coach. I'm not gonna get on coach, but I'm just saying he's playing okay right now. But again, playoff time, ball shrink. If you know what I'm saying, ball shrink. So therefore, I'm looking at it from the point of view, who can beat the Lakers or the Warriors in a 5 game or a 7 game series? Minnesota.
But the question is, do you think the Lakers are going to get there? Are they going to be in your top 8? Because if they're not going to be in your top 8, they ain't going to be in the playoffs. You don't think they're
You
going to
know
make? Are
what?
you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Now, cool. You know who my team is. So what do you think I'm going to say? So
So who you taking out? You putting the Lakers in? They 9 right now. So you got to take somebody out of the top 8. Who you taking out?
I'm taking the Warriors out.
The Warriors aren't in. They're 10.
All right. So out of the top,
So you got to take out either Sacramento, Phoenix, Dallas, or New Orleans, because we know the top 4 is solid.
Actually, 1 through 8 is pretty good. It's solid. They not
yeah.
But
far.
I mean, I'm just saying, you got
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I
if
agree.
you feel like the Lakers gonna make it, you gotta take
Oh,
out one of those teams.
shoot. Dallas is on a roll right now. Kyrie's playing out of his mind. Luca's playing crazy. Phoenix, again, like Coach said, Bill, we don't know if they're going to be healthy. I'm going to have to say Phoenix is going to be out. Only because of the health concerns. And they can't put a full team together. And are they going to be able to do it during playoff time? I would say Phoenix.
All right, so that's fair. So I'm gonna give you mine. So definitely Minnesota, definitely Oklahoma City, definitely the Clippers. If they healthy, definitely Denver. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, I have in. Phoenix, I have in. Lakers and the Warriors, I have in. I'm taking out Sacramento and New Orleans. I'm taking
Oh,
out Sacramento had a great season last year. They're not replicating it, right? They're sitting at 8 right now. They're a solid team,
mm-hmm.
but as we get down this stretch, as we get in the playoffs, they didn't remember last year. As we got later in the season, they started falling off. It's just that Denver had some injuries. They were falling off with some other teams as well. So they were able to stay up there at the top. Now they 8. It's not a lot of room between 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the Lakers and the Warriors have enough experience where they're going to end up being 7 and 8 through after the play-ins are over.
Okay.
Obviously, this is all dependent upon the play-in games, right? But I think the Lakers and the Warriors are going to be the 2 teams that are going to get. I think Phoenix is going to end up sliding up to 5 to 6. New Orleans is going to fall down to 7 or 8. And those play-in games, the Lakers and the Warriors are going to win them, and the Lakers and the Warriors are going to be the last 2 in the playoffs. For the Lakers, they need the point guard position to be better. Not one player, but the point guard position. The point guard position plays better for the Lakers. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a problem for whoever they play, especially if they're 8 and it's Minnesota number 1, right? That's going to be a problem for them because the Lakers have a lot of guys with experience, guys that can step up in the playoffs. They may not do it through the season because they're coasting to an extent.
And they have size.
And they do have size. Golden State, you got Steph. You got an emerging young player in Kaminga. You've got the shell of Klay Thompson. They're still better than a lot of guys, just not what we expect from Klay Thompson, right? So you got a lot of pieces there that can help out as well. Phoenix, you got a big 3, and they went out and made some moves to try to get some other pieces around them. I don't think they're a championship winning team, but I think they're in the playoffs. Dallas, I mean, they found a way to make it work where they couldn't last year with Kyrie and Luka and some of the other pieces. So I'm comfortable with them. And then the top 4, I've already said top 4 is the top 4. Denver, Christian Brown has got to be the guy to kind of do some extra stuff. For the Clippers, we know it's got to be Mr. Fat Suit himself, James Harden. OKC, how far can Chet Holmgren take them? We know what we're going to get from SGA. No problem, no questions asked. But he needs help. And another guy that was really good last year, Mr. Giddey, after his situation.
right,
He ain't been the same player.
right, right,
And
right.
then, of course, Minnesota, great in the regular season, but I have to 1,000% agree with Coach. You got Mr. No Show on your roster. When the playoffs start, Mr. No Show is going to hide like a turtle in his shell, like he do every year.
And how many times we gotta like just keep going through this same scenario when we clearly see the same two players play great every year in the playoffs, every year in the regular season, but they a no show in the playoffs. I mean, again, I'm not, I don't, I'm not an opponent of giving these guys too many excuses. I mean, when you're if you're called into Towns, you're considered as a top five center in the NBA, and Clint Capella is outplaying you in a playoff series. That's unacceptable. When you have Joel Embiid, who cried about the MVP, who constantly cried and whined about the MVP, how much he should have got MVP, but then again, you consistently every single year not show up in the playoffs. Oh yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. We can't keep calling him a top three center or top five center or better than Nikola Jokic and not consider Anthony Davis someone who has showed up in the playoffs when he's healthy, who has, by the way, if you want to say Anthony Davis is better than Embiid, I wouldn't argue it because we have seen someone like Anthony Davis show up in the playoffs when it mattered the most. Even if it's the bubble, we have seen him show up when it matters the most. And we haven't seen Joel Embiid yet. We continue to see him lose to Boston and lose in the second round, no matter who it is. And we continue to see Karl Anthony Towns them lose in the first round every single season. And matter of fact, I'm going to say this. Anthony Edwards is the difference of that team. Anthony Edwards is. Because we're going to remember, Karl Anthony Towns as the main guy, how many times have Minnesota made the playoffs? When Karl Anthony Towns is the main guy of that team, they had one of the worst records every single year in the NBA. But guess who comes over to save the day? Jimmy Butler comes over. They finally makes the playoffs. That team hasn't made the playoffs in 16 goddamn years until Jimmy Butler came over there and changed the dynamic of that team. But guess once you have a player that's going to hold them guys accountable, they wanted to run him out. They didn't like him. Karl Anthony Towns didn't like him. But guess what? You know what happened when Jimmy Butler did when he left? Guess what? How about a couple more years not being in the playoffs with Karl Anthony Towns as your best player? But guess what? We got this young cat from Georgia, Anthony Edwards, who comes in, not his first year, but his second year, they're in the playoffs. And they're even better. So with Karl Anthony Towns as your main guy, the Timberwolves, think about this, people. With Karl Anthony Towns as your main guy, they can't even make a playoff. They can't even make the playoffs when he's your main guy. They're not even a playoff team. So again, he's a solid player. He's going to average 25. He's going to average 12 points a game. He's going to have a high 3-point percentage. But when it's a 7-game series and a team can actually game plan for you, they know how to take Karl Anthony Towns up out of the equation. And Rudy Gobert is going to continue to get exposed in the playoffs because outside of playing in the paint, he can't be effective against a team that can shoot the basketball. He cannot
Rudy Gobert.
But again, Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, I know Minnesota's having a great year. They're first in the West, but again, if you have to put them in a playoff series against someone like the Clippers, if they stay healthy, or Denver, I'm going to pick against Minnesota every single time. And I still think, I'm going to say a hot take, I still think they would lose the first round. I still think they lose the first round this year. I'm going to say it. I'm going to come out and say it.
Hey, I have it being either the Lakers or the Warriors, and those are two teams with a lot of playoff experience, and I think they would be them.
Yep.
Well, Con, we have heard Coach Dante's last thoughts. Any last thoughts from you before we exit stage right for the evening?
Well, again, I'm honored to have y'all on the show, and I appreciate you guys inviting me on the show. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna have to disagree. I think the Lakers are gonna be all right. I think the Lakers are gonna be all right. I think the Lakers, that's my team. I think they're gonna be very strong, and I think they're gonna, do a bit more load management up into the playoff time. I think they're going to be very
I got them in
effective.
the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I got them in the playoffs.
I think they're going to go pretty farther than y'all think. Minnesota, I agree with Coach. No show. I think he's going to play better. And a lot of teams in the West have size, so the West is like way stronger than the East, as we all know.
They
So the
just met
West
in the All-Star game.
is going to be off. The West is going to be crazy. So you
Yeah.
never know what's going to happen. It comes down to injuries and who's healthy and who's not. Out of the West, I'm still going to go with. I know y'all think I'm going to go with either Denver or the Lakers. And in the East, I got to go with the Celtics. I don't think no one's going to contend with the Celtics in the East. But in the West, I'm going either Denver because they've been there before. They're healthy. They know how to win. You can't leave Denver out. They got the best, one of the best, if not the best player in the world. So I'm going with Denver. And I'm Clippers. Something tells me somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. But if the Clippers are held, I would go with the Clippers, but I'm going with Denver and Lakers in the West. I'm going to go with the Celtics and Milwaukee in the East.
All right. Well, kind of want to correct one thing you said. We didn't invite you on the show. You part of the show, sir. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, thank you.
no problem. But appreciate everybody that watched the show, everybody that catches the replay. Everybody in the comments, I know it's a Friday night. We're just getting back to basketball, college basketball, and all that. But hey, check your boys out. We're trying to get out some good content. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. With that being said, make sure you check us out. And we're gonna go ahead and end it here with a little promotional piece. And we out.